This is Miss Copera. This demo is to show you how you can do your identity box. So it's just a digital collage if the 3D thing is overwhelming you. So here's the template. I'm sharing it with you on Google Classroom. You go ahead and you have a copy of it. And if you see on the right, I went ahead and I organized my photos into different categories: emotional identity, external identity, um, physical identity, intellectual identity, and spiritual identity, to kind of like help my thinking when I think about my internal identity. The My external identity just is kind of like what people see on the outside. So you see, if I insert an image or if I drag that on the outside, I'm just going to put a selfie there. And I'm going to put that kind of on the outside of the collage. That's what people know about me on the outside, but they don't really know the inside of my box. Here's another selfie. Probably don't always look this good, but you know, selfie culture. So that's like some stuff for the external identity. I'm going to keep that on the outside. As far as emotional identity, you can put that in the heart. You can make the heart bigger if you want. I made the heart big because I figured I always see you guys writing the most for your emotional identity thinking map. And that's why I gave you more space. I'm going to put a picture of one of my favorite students. She'll probably get mad, but I really miss her. She really helped me out this year, and I miss her helping me out in the art classroom. Obviously, for emotional identity, a lot of us are going to put family. If you want to crop an image, you kind of click down on it and then it gives you that option to go ahead and crop it. So I'm going to put my family sort of in the middle and kind of moving through. Students, I really miss my students. Here's a picture of you guys. Gonna right click on that and crop it. Bring it down, bring it down. And this is the drama field trip from this year. And I really love taking those drama field trips. And I love you guys. So you're part of my emotional identity. You're also part of my intellectual identity. So you'll find that there's some similarities in this category. Here's a student that I really miss, and he hasn't been coming to class. But that's the wrong kind of file. Let's see. If you are having trouble importing some of your HEIC files, if you have live photo, you can always take a screenshot of it on your phone, and then it'll show up as a screenshot, and then you can copy it and bring it into Google Slides. But this is one of a student that hasn't been coming to class, and I think about him. So you just keep moving through and you're putting things that go with each category. You can also use Google Image for this. So like physical identity, when it's inside of the identity box, is also how you feel about yourself. So if you feel good about your physical identity, maybe you want to use a Google image, like you copy it from the internet, you know, and then you really have a lot of self-love, right? Here's another one. Food always shows up in identity boxes. You are what you eat. So here's an example of me eating healthy. But it also isn't healthy because there's a lot of bread and butter and cheese. And like, that's an example of being okay, with what I eat and like being okay with myself and my physical self. Here's another selfie. I'm not sure why it's there. But that's what people see from the outside. I'm moving the heart. Don't let this stress you out. Doesn't need to be super complicated, right? But you got to be ready to talk about it on May 6th. For physical identity, I put coffee, just because I love coffee, and it makes me feel like I can focus. So I'm gonna put that in my head because I really need coffee to function. Intellectual identity, I'm a painter. I've been getting really into watercolor. So you can, oops. So for my intellectual identity, I'm always thinking about that. I always want to paint. And I really like this one painting because this reminds me of my grandmother's work, who passed away. And I feel like I'm channeling my grandmother through this artwork. Here we go. Intellectual identity. You guys are also gonna crop this. You're on my mind all the time. I think about you all the time. And I know what some of you art students are thinking. She's posting more drama. But I have more group pictures from drama. So class of 2022, you are on my mind and my thoughts. So of course you are part of my intellectual identity. Also, I'm a teacher. So that's very much like a part of who I am. Oops, still in physical identity. And again, you can use Google Image if you don't have so many photos. Here's a student I miss. Matthew Franca, are you out there? Monologues and inspiring kids to do drama. So painting and art's a part of my intellectual identity, but drama's a big part of my intellectual identity. If I didn't have photos, I could put in drama masks from Google Image just to show you guys how to do that. Let's say you use Google Image, drama masks, right? And for some reason, my browser doesn't go straight to Google Images, which you guys can tell me how to do that in the comments of this video. There's something wrong. But if I go to Google Images and I type in drama masks, right, I could go ahead and find the picture that I want. And then I right click on that and then I copy image and then go back to my identity box. And let's see if it works. Please work. Paste. Good. So I could crop that, get that vector stock. I am not going to give you a lower grade if it doesn't look nice, okay? Just as long as we can understand your identity, your digital identity box, that's fine. Again, you could put like stuff on the outside that represents your, you know, your external identity. You guys are like, spit it out. So for example, like, what does everyone know about me that they just like from my external identity? Name, Rachel Copera, right? Age. I inserted a text box, by the way. You may not know this about me, but you could look it up on the internet, I'm sure. 36. Profession. Teacher. But you may not know that I have 3 kids, that I love drama by looking on the internet, that I'm a painter. You may not know what kind of paintings I do. So like that, again, is part of my external identity. External identity. Move that over. Don't obsess over formatting when you guys are making your slides like me. I mean, it's really, really bad how much time I spend with formatting. Your slides do not need to look pretty. Let me be clear. Let's see. I think I'm good. Ah! I want to put Mr. Palma in here for intellectual identity. He's really impressed me with his acting. So I got an art student in here, Aaliyah, and then I got Mr. Palma in here. But here he is being a focal point during a drama tableau scene. Good job. So let's see if I can fit him in my head. You know, and it's okay if there's kind of like an overlap. Right? And again, all those selfies are going to be on the outside because that's not as important. Your heart is what's important. Let's see. This is under intellectual identity, students, but I'll just fit it in emotional identity. That's where I got some space. So, like, being a teacher is part of my intellectual identity and emotional identity. Okay, for spiritual identity, because I'm trying to be totally politically correct, I have a son, right? So for me, personally, with my spiritual identity, you put whatever you want in there. Nature is a huge part of my spiritual identity. I feel really close to, like, beautiful things when I am in nature, and I feel really, that's like true beauty to me. And that also makes me feel closer to like this higher power, however you want to say it. So I'm gonna put nature. That's my dog, by the way. You guys see my dog? Oh, she just makes me so happy. Her name's Riley. She's 10. So part of my spiritual identity. What else did I put for spiritual identity? Oh yeah. the lake is a really important thing to me. And here are some of my nephews swimming. These are my nephews swimming in a lake in Michigan. I'm from Michigan, and I just feel like, if they're, as far as God or higher powers, I feel closer to something great when I'm in the lake. Like, that's a huge part of who I am. And it's spilling out of the sun. That is okay if it's spilling outside of the sun. And I told myself I wasn't going to talk this whole time and I was just going to speed it up. But I also feel like I need to talk about it. And then there you have it. I think I'm going to wrap this up. This is also a friend of mine by the lake. And I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to put that in there. That's my kindergarten best friend. We still talk. But she's also, I always see her when I go to the lake. And I feel like friendship's a huge part of my spirit. People lift me up. And there you have it. I mean, I'm going to put more in, but I don't want to overwhelm you guys with my extraness. So this was my demo on doing an identity box. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to share this with you guys. And this is acceptable for the identity box. And identity box is due on May 6th. Or sorry, May 6th. That's right. And it will be graded on May 8th. Okay. And then what you do is you go ahead and you copy the slide, Control-C, and you go to your digital portfolio. So by the way, if you could see right here, I could see with an easy scroll who's doing all of the work. So you could see who's talking. Linda Ramos is working. Mr. Menchaca is doing her work. Just kidding. Yami. And I could go ahead. Okay, okay, here you go. Evelyn Perez, Osvaldo, Edgar. Where are all the 10th graders? Where are you guys? Giselle. Shout out to Giselle. Kevin Chavez. Mr. Hernandez. Giselle, Maria. Shout out to Kevin Chavez and Maria. Where are you guys? I know you're here. Okay, Geraldine. Shout out to Grace. Shout out to Melody. And you can see with a quick scroll, I can see who's kind of like talking in the group discussions. So Siklali, Yahari, Edgar, Geraldine. You see the same names popping up. Candy, Alex, Aaliyah's editing. Rhonda's doing work. Diego Sanchez. Geraldine, Joy, Eileen, David. I'm seeing David a lot in this feed. Rhonda, Eileen, and 3 others. I could click on see who that is. So just make sure you're commenting on each other's work. Karen, I think this is BTS, right? Linda, BTS. Geraldine, Gamma pops up a lot in my feed. Shout out to Rocio. I see a lot of Osvaldo. I see a lot of Socrease, Melody. I see a lot of Brandon Ortiz and Chris and Sandra. So you guys can see, guys, that it's really easy for me to just see who's doing their work at all times. Giselle, David, Jennifer, Gerardo. So just shout out to Bitsaida, Irene, Amy, and everyone who's been doing their work. I just really appreciate it. Okay, I wanted to give that quick shout out. So in order to copy this over to your group PowerPoint, you just select the slide. I'm selecting the slide, and I'm hitting Control-C, and then I go over, and then you go to shared with me. You should have added it to your drive, but you go to shared with me, and I could see all the work, all the kids that are doing work. And then you'll be able to find the work that everyone is just going ahead and doing. You go to your digital portfolio. Go to your digital portfolio. Group work, digital portfolio. And I could see everyone's work in here. And you go to your PowerPoint. And then you find your section. Okay, so look. This group went ahead and they typed their work. And then you find your section for your identity box, right? And you go ahead and you paste that in there. So I just hit Control Paste, Control V, and then my identity box work just pasted right in there. So you could match style and presentation, I think. And then that's how you do it. So you go ahead and paste it in. I hope this demo was helpful. I hope to see everyone's identity box here. You could go ahead and you could delete those questions if you want. And then make sure you change it. So this is Valeria Estrada's work, and I just put my work in hers, but I'll just change that in a second. And there you have it. All right. I hope you guys get your work done, and I hope this was helpful.